Alright, so we have to go talk to the Master of Ceremonies, who I assume is going to be inside of our palace. Do I want to talk to other people on the way over there? Just in case they have anything to say. We can try. Argenta, do you have anything unusual? Nope. Not even a full dialogue. O immortal God Emperor, be merciful to us. I assume we had other people on the way, but it's fine. Let's just head on in. Probably need to go upstairs. It does look like things have been repaired, which is nice, because this place was looking a lot worse when we were last here. Master of Ceremonies. Let's talk to Clementia Wersarian first. Nothing to say. Okay. And Achilles, anything new from you? No. Heinrichs? Alright, seems like everything is basically normal. So, Master of Ceremonies. This servant in fine clothes offers you a deep bow. Your lordship, it is a great honor to serve you in an undertaking as monumental and glorious as the Magna Essentio ceremony. You have been entrusted with arranging the festivities. I have indeed, your lordship. I have been given the high honor of being steward of this eminent palace, and on the occasion of your lordship's ascension, I will be overseeing the preparations for the ceremony. The fact that he doesn't have a name worries me. Like, he's not someone I'm supposed to get to know. Like, no portrait, no name. He's just Master of Ceremonies. I'm like, are you legitimate, or are you going to be someone who is a cultist using this ceremony to attack me or something? I have suspicions. Al-Sarbak, to whom you entrusted the arrangements for the festivities, wishes that the Emperor's favor be with you on this monumentous day. Is everything ready? The palace decorations are prepared, and we are ready to begin at your command. The festive activities in the capital have likewise been arranged, and the guests of honor either have arrived on the planet or are awaiting invitation in near orbit. The servants are already in your chambers to see to it that you are impeccably garbed for the occasion. Then let us begin. May the Emperor be with us this day. Like, the fact that the ceremony isn't being run by some named NPC we've gotten to know already, but just some nameless person. Suddenly Cthulhu? Yeah. Hello? Rejoice, Von Valencia's subjects. In honor of his ascension, the new rogue trader generously shows you his favor. Is there just a guy dead there? To remind the people of their humility and loyalty for the next cycle, administration in the temples in the Von Valencia's Protectorate will be performed without interruption. Every subject is to attend a service and offer a prayer of gratitude to the God Emperor. Keep the faith and praise the pious rogue trader. Yeah, because we chose the option of prayers and alms and whatnot as the way to celebrate our ascension as a rogue trader. crowd below is roiling, their electrified exultation filling the air of Dargonis. Thousands of throats chant your name. You are at the apex of this world and all others. Amplified by 100 voxes, the voice of the Master of Ceremonies booms. Rejoice, subjects of Dargonis. You have been granted the felicity of witnessing your master, a great honor bestowed upon us by rogue trader Ignatius von Valentius. Gracious savior of Dargonis and vanquisher of blaspheming inhumans, may their unholy kind perish in the flames of righteousness. Okay. Ooh, is there an option that we could have gotten to Dargonis too late? We made it to Dargonis before it could be devastated by the Drukhari. We chose to go to Dargonis second of the three main worlds. If we'd taken our time and gone to Kiava Gamma before Dargonis, would the Drukhari have actually devastated it? Cool. Cleanser of Janus, who with one hand brought death, I can't speak today, brought death upon the blaspheming xenos, and with the others exterminated the despicable worshippers of the archenemy. Very true. Gracious protector of footfall, patron of trade. You do love that the game has consequences? Yeah. That's the problem, is the game is so long I'm unlikely to ever play through it again. But it has so many different options of how things can play out that I wish I could see all the variety. Yeah. It's cool that everyone's playthrough is going to be slightly different, though. A hush falls over the crowd, who gaze upon you in adoration. Many of them bear terrible scars from the recent battle of Dargonis. Like children, they await the word of their almighty father. We can go dogmatic. Praise the Emperor, faithful souls. The darkness around us may be fierce, but the blaze in our hearts is fiercer still. Evil will burn. Iconoclast, fear not the coming day. Henceforth, you are all my charges. Heretical, remember that you have no other ruler but me. For any who dare to forget this, the howls of demons from the warp will sound like the babbling of babes, and Xenos blades will seem like a soft feather bed compared to the horror of the punishment I'll inflict. Wow. Sir Faithful, and I will lead you to prosperity. The Koronus Expanse will enrich us all. Or turn to the Master of Ceremonies and speak right into the box. Am I expected to say something to them? I won't talk to rabble. Take it away. We're gonna go dogmatic. As usual. Unless the dogmatic goes too crazy, I usually go dogmatic. Praise the Emperor, faithful souls. The darkness around us may be fierce, but the blaze in our hearts is fiercer still. Evil will burn. The crowd erupts in frenzied cries. Hundreds of people pull out knives and with ardent, jubilant howls carve crude, bleeding Aquillas on their faces, sharing in the martyrdom of the protector of humankind, the God Emperor. Wow. Everyone just agrees that's how you're supposed to celebrate a cry of righteousness, is that you have to carve the Aquila into your face with a knife. 40k is amazing. So much gold and white. Cassia stares at the crowd enraptured. It seems this massive gathering of exalting people is just as exotic and captivating to her as the sight of a bona fide navigator, a representative of the mysterious and powerful Navis Nobilite, is to your subjects. Adequate. Dargonis is not disappointed. Afterlife forces the smile of satisfaction from his face and whispers to you, "You remember the next part, yes? Your lordship will be asked to take the oath." Adequate. The people are carving the Aquila into their own faces, and he's like, I guess they're doing a well enough job of celebrating. The Master of Ceremonies bows to you with great reverence. Let the oath of the Von Valentius dynasty be taken. Please repeat after me, your lordship. I, Ignatius, rogue trader, by the grace of the Emperor, vow to be the paragon of humanity. I, Ignatius, rogue trader, by the grace of the Emperor, vow to be the paragon of humanity. Your lips repeat the words of the ancient oath, unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, to unite and reclaim what was lost, to triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns, through pain to greatness. You hear a rumble. It is the roar of the sea of your subjects. With jubilation and devout fear, they welcome your ascension. It is done. And we didn't actually have anything go wrong. It surprises me. Von Valentia's protector is emerging from a crisis, but that means it is once again an interesting prospect for external predators. To avoid it leading the major players of the Koronus Expanse into temptation, the rogue trader should assert his right to Theodore's legacy. The nobles of the protector and influential guests have gathered at a reception in honor of Theodore von Valentius' heir. The social occasion is a political event where alliances will be forged, which is why the rogue trader must seize the opportunities presented to him. The Master of Ceremonies should be notified of the end of the reception. Talk to the rogue traders, Winterscale and Corda. Makes sense. Huh. So we've got a statue of someone facing statues of, I'm guessing, Eldari. Is that supposed to be representing us? Fighting off the Eldari? Like in Janus? Ilia is looking at them. I wonder what the people think, seeing her standing here next to these statues. The noble figures of... Hello? The Guardian of Humanity burn with righteous fury and stern resolve. What a blessing to see you in good health, your lordships. Greeting to you, your lordship. So that's just a generic Guardian of Humanity. This exotic statue, which formerly pleased the eyes of Xenos, now adorns the palace of this dynasty of glorious explorers of the Koronus Expanse. Iliad, your gatherings look odd and unusual. I will remember this. Alright, who else do we have around? Scattered haphazardly around the tables are bottles of expensive amasec, plates of provisions, plates of provisia nobilis, and hookahs of obscura. Ha! Okay. We've got terrible chance, 44% lore Imperium to try and recognize this tank, which we actually succeeded at. The Venerable Lehman Russ is known as the Scipian Punisher, and it has served the Von Valentius dynasty for 2 centuries. It was hit in the battle with... No, come back. It was hit in the battle with the Xenos that inhabited Scipia II, but it heroically destroyed 63 enemy vehicles and brought victory to its comrades, securing its status as a relic blessed by the Emperor. This Herald Servo Skull just periodically talking, ruining my ability to read. We've got more people up here. Whoa. Kobolite Warrior. Condemned Mutant Gunner. People are just taking shots at them. It's like a shooting gallery at a carnival. But rather than shooting at, you know, balloons or whatever, they're shooting at criminals. We'll get over there in a moment. This eerily crackling Xenos trophy is a testament to how the omniscience gifts become twisted shadows of themselves in the hands of inhumans. Just criminals, that is, after all, a family event. Yep. Cabela, your subjects have turned the act of killing into amusement. This is a great sacrilege, Dom Ignatius. But have no fear, I will explain the will of the Undying One to the lay people. Well, I hope you don't mind, but I'm also going to take part. What is happening to us? I don't have any effects on me. I don't see anything that showed up here, but that was weird. We haven't looked at you yet. Inscribed upon the snow-white parchment of the prayers are the prayers for the brave soldiers of the House von Valentius, who carry the rogue trader's will and that of the Emperor across the Koronus Expanse. Oh, we've got a bunch of named people here. We'll come back to you guys in a bit. These magnificent paintings were created in the style that fully complies with the artistic canon approved by the ecclesiarchy. A fragment of an Eldari pillar, a trophy up to the rogue trader, and a never-before-seen oddity to most citizens of the Imperium. It's odd to have so much xenos stuff here, because it's fine for us as a rogue trader, and I guess that's the point, is we're showing off our wealth and what we've collected on our travels. But just having the people around a bunch of xenos stuff feels odd to me. Alright, none of you are named. Let's see what you are. Magnificent altar to the God Emperor is wreathed in the fumes of precious incense. We've got an Alpha Lacerax and a mutant. Also, it amuses me that mutants are illegal and criminals just for being mutants. Good question. Most of these are going to be nobles and high officials, but still. Hey, Dragon Tier Leather, welcome. Wild xenobeasts are growling ferociously, adding a flare of thrilling danger to the mood of the palace. Can we talk to the mutant? Please, let me go. I'm not a xenos, I'm a person. I just look different. I was born this way. Yeah, that's the thing about mutants. You were unfortunate enough to have a mutation that is not acceptable in 40k, versus myself as a psyker has a mutation that is more accepted. Still not 100% accepted. Lord Xenos. So you are Eldari, specifically Drukhari. The Drukhari captive is angrily muttering curse directed at the detestable monkey, promising horrible torture for everyone present. We actually succeed on that as well. We need to roll... oh no, we had a 100% chance. It showed 30%. So it showed 30%, but then Pascal took the test. So it's telling me my chances of myself succeeding, but it's letting my party members still take the roll. That's kind of confusing. Alright, I think we've looked at everything besides all of you. We've got Abelard here. Where's the rest of my party? I guess that's it. We've talked to Cabela and Irliet, and Abelard's the only other one. It's odd. Well, I guess we can probably go into the palace and maybe we'd see more of our people there. Yes, I went to Cava Gamma last stream and dealt with all of that. Let's talk to Abelard first. Governor Urban Drivestem stands surrounded by highborn guests. Like, I clicked on Abelard, but I guess we're just talking to the whole group then. Surrounded by highborn guests like a planet orbited by many moons. All of his charm is directed at a man in resplendent power armor adorned with the sigils of the Inquisition. But as soon as you approach, Drivestem is the first to give you an elegant bow, getting ahead of the rest in the expressions of loyalty. This is a great day, your lordship. There's someone in power armor. I assume that's... Oh, it's you, obviously. I didn't look at what your name was. Drivestem is the leader of Vibo 6, who thought he should be the one most prominently respected in this ceremony, and I put Sourback's family in place as the head of the event instead. So he's probably at least somewhat annoyed at us. Smile graciously. I welcome you to my palace, honored guests. Yawn. For you, perhaps. For me, it is just another day. Wow. Pointedly gaze at Drivestem with animosity and say nothing. No, I have no reason to be confronting with Drivestem. I welcome you to my palace, honored guests. You are buffeted by a salvo of congratulations and compliments. Look at the guests. Iconoclasts stare at the faces of the nobles in attendance. I'm ready to accept your congratulations. What are you discussing? Nod to the Inquisitor. Oh, you're not just someone in the Inquisition with power armor. You're the Inquisitor himself. Then we definitely want to talk to you. My greetings to a member of the Holy Inquisition. Let's look at the guests first. Among the aristocrats surrounding the opulently dressed Drivestem, you notice a couple of young nobles in Sourback and Gaprak colors. It would seem that the major noble families of Dargonus have decided to introduce their younger members to high society. The tall man in grey power armor adorned with a column of with a skull is undoubtedly a high-ranking inquisitor. He keeps to the periphery of the conversation, seldom deigning to comment. Next to him is his entourage, a rangy warrior in black armor and a tech priest dressed in red, whose face is hidden behind a brass mask. So that's got to be you two. No, that's Abelard. It's got to be you two. Abelard stands somewhat apart from the others, as if reluctant to approach Drivestem. Next to him is a young woman, and you notice a family resemblance between them. Okay, that's the other Wissarian, who's been a main person on the planet, presumably. Take a guess at who is allied with whom in the tangle of snakes. 42% is not amazing. We'll give it a shot. We succeeded. How about that? Rolled a 37 under the 42. Drivestem is, obviously, still the leader of Dargonus aristocracy, but judging by the courtesy he is showing to young Sourback, he clearly wants to strengthen his relationship with that house. The senior Sourback and Gaprak are whispering in another corner. Sourback, whose family seems to be giving you the cold shoulder, must be trying to sway Gaprak to his side. Sourback's family is giving me the cold shoulder. Didn't we... Maybe I didn't choose Sourback to be the leading... We chose who was going to be who in this ceremony so long ago that I can't remember exactly what we chose. It's possible that I said to put the honor on the Wissarian family. But I thought I chose Sourback. I certainly didn't choose Drivestem. But if we gave Sourback the honor and they're giving me the cold shoulder, that's not good. Which could be quite advantageous to Lady Gaprak. After all, the disaster on Keva Gamma has left her family in an extremely vulnerable position. The Wissarians stand apart, their exclusion from the rest palpable, because the Wissarians aren't actually nobles. You think you did Abelard's family on your playthrough? Okay. Yeah, I think they gave a choice of Wissarian, Sourback, and Drivestem, as I recall. Drivestem being the main noble of the area, and so he automatically assumed that he would be chosen, but I didn't like his attitude, so I didn't want to choose him. Sourback is a noble of standing, but not as highly ranked as Drivestem, but it's assumed that we would give the honor to a noble, so it seemed like Sourback was the obvious choice. We could use the Wissarian family, because the Wissarian family was... Can't think. Yeah, the Wissarian family is not technically nobles, but they've been involved in high ranking long enough that it wouldn't be too much of a taboo to choose their family. So I think I still went with Sourback because they are a good family that's respected and noble, but not Drivestem. At least that was my reasoning in my mind. ready to accept your congratulations. What were you discussing just now? I'm going to nod to the Inquisitor. My greetings to the member of the Holy Inquisition. We'll start there. Hopefully we can go back to discussing what they're discussing. But yeah. Xavier Calcazar. Yeah, so this is the Inquisitor that we've communicated with briefly in the past. He looks cool. I mean, power armor automatically looks cool by default. Yeah. He responds with a dignified bow, his proud face calm and unfaltering. And my greetings to you, esteemed Ignatius von Valentius. May shadows never darken the light of the Astronomicon that guides you. The Inquisitor's companion, a crimson-robed member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, bows to you. From behind the brass mask mounted with dozens of augmetics comes a metallic rasp. Glory to the von Valentius air. You are Brass Whisper. Okay. And we don't get to hear from your other soldier type. So the Inquisitor and his companions. 87%. That's pretty good. Another success. The Lord Inquisitor's relaxed expression radiates an odd sense of menace. He is akin to a predator on the prowl, content to hide in the brush of fake smiles and elegant conversation for now. Does he think that there is some heresy here at this ceremony that he needs to be here for? Predator on the prowl makes me think that he's expecting something to go on, and he's just ready for it. Or he's searching for a heretic or something. Among the many augmetics, we passed a random tech use. We keep passing all of our tests that we have no right to be passing. I'm not going to complain, but it's weird. Among the many augmentations which stand out is the horribly melted, deformed cogitator connected to the tech priest's head. How it is working is baffling. What is twice as baffling is that the tech priest hasn't replaced it yet. What unpredictable influence can this ruined implant have on his mind? That's weird. That's very weird. An unexpected visit, I wasn't told. We have not been introduced. Who is this member of the Honorable Priesthood of the Adeptus Mechanicus, or enjoy the party? An unexpected visit. The Inquisition was unexpected. Never expect the Spanish Inquisition. We haven't been truly introduced, but we've communicated. So that one might be strange. An unexpected visit, I wasn't told. I, however, have been told all about you. Nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition. Yep. The Inquisitor's face is impenetrable, but behind the mask you detect a hint of mockery. Oh, that's not good. It seemed like he, at least in the brief note we got from him early on, where he was talking about us, the two of us being the shields against heresy in the area, and he was glad to work with us. He seemed very positive of us. A hint of mockery does not sound good. We have not been introduced. An oversight, to be sure. My name is Xavier Calcazar, and I have the honor of serving as a member of the illustrious Ordo Xenos, the head of the Koronus Expanse Conclave, and the Lord Inquisitor of this region. It is my unending task to ensure this sector's readiness to meet external threats and resist internal corruption. I mean, he might be upset that we literally have a Xenos hanging out at our party. I can understand him being unhappy with that. That we have an Eldari as part of our retinue that's chilling at our party. Yeah. That's fair. I don't know if that's what he's unhappy about, but it would make sense. And who is this member of the Honorable Priesthood of the Adeptus Mechanicus? This is Brass Whisper, which naturally is not his real name. The esteemed Magos is a member of my retinue. There are times when I am forced to, by my duty to the Emperor, to deal with xenotechnology, and Brass Whisper ensures my safety in such moments. Works that have been desecrated by xenos are dangerous. They warned. His whispering cuts off, replaced by heavy, ragged breathing. It seems that the tech priest's quiet voice is not an extravagant quirk, but rather a consequence of some injury. After catching his breath, Brass Whisper continues, warrant due caution. Okay, we'll enjoy the party. The evening will certainly be illuminating. I am nervous with your attitude and what you're saying. I guess I don't like how this is phrased. I'm ready to accept your congratulations. Because it's a very full of yourself way of phrasing it. I see you also don't just panic at the disco. Yeah. He's enigmatic, seems to deal rewards and punishments with the same hand. Yeah. I don't know much about him, but I'm nervous because the Inquisition has the power to do whatever they feel is necessary. And they're making it seem like he's ready. He's here with the intent to do something. And so I don't think we're on the friendly terms that I thought we were. Alright, I'm ready to accept your congratulations. Random people bowing. In that case, allow me to be the first to offer them. Drivestem snaps his fingers, and several servants approach you with gifts. The governor points at a thin, curved Drukhari blade. Right in front of the Inquisition, my soldiers took this splendid trophy from the body of one of the Xenos commanders. The weapon is too beautiful and forbidden for anyone but your lordship. Severed hand. It's a one-handed Drukhari power sword. A dark curved blade crafted by the despicable Drukhari, this deadly weapon was claimed as a trophy in the Battle of Dargonis. Most warriors prefer swords, blah blah blah. That's the usual stuff about swords. So it just has a venomous strike, which is just its basic strike. Melee attack that poisons enemy with toxin, but doesn't say how much. Or venomous slash, which is probably the same as normal slash, but also gets toxin. But again, doesn't say how much. Odd. 16 to 20 with 35% armor penetration feels okay, but I don't think it's as good as a lot of the other weapons. Plus, we'd need Drukhari proficiency, which I think Jai is the only one who has. So Jai could use this, but I never use her, so meh. Continue. There we go. Young Sauerback squeezes through to be next, pushing Gaprak aside with confidence. Your lordship, House Sauerback anticipates the onset of unsettled and bloody times. To make the ungodly Xenos cower at your approach, my family humbly presents you with a dozen pieces of secondary armament for your ship. That I do approve of. Young Gaprak bows ceremoniously. House Gaprak is delighted to present you this blessed work of the Omniscience Smiths. May this locator matrix, which took the holy artisan an entire lifetime to create, always show you the right path. Ordinate Oracle. This matrix grants the wearer a plus 15 bonus to awareness. That's cool. Give that to Castia, maybe? Depending on what she's already using. Having let the aristocrats go first as a sign of deference, Abelard is the last to speak. Your lordship, House Wissarion possesses no relics worthy of your acceptance, but we are rich and talented and hardworking people. As a sign of our loyalty, I humbly offer you my flesh and blood. 100 of my kin will go to colonies in your protectorate and use all their talents so that the worlds in your charge may prosper. Fair. You have 100 kin? I'm assuming they're not directly your descendants, but like your cousin's children's and second cousin's children and whatnot, like tied to House Wissarion, but not directly your descendants, but you're just the ranking member of your family. What were we discussing just now? We were talking about the brutal xenos raid on our fair Dargonus. So many victims, so much damage to our industries. You think he's a great-grandfather at this point? At least a grandfather? Yeah, he's definitely a grandfather, might be a great-grandfather, but 100 descendants for a great-grandparent, like within 3 generations, would be crazy. So it's got to be branching off from there, unless he had, you know, a dozen kids and each of them had a dozen kids. I mean, it doesn't have to go quite that far, but still, lots of large families would be needed to pull that off. And then it would still be, he'd be giving up basically his whole lineage. It's got to be branching off from above him. So many victims, so much damage to our industries. Thank the Emperor that you are our protector. If it weren't for you, the cursed invaders would have obliterated the whole planet. He offers you a thin, obsequious smile. Sharing the sector with the blasted Xenos is impossible. I hope you respond to the raid on Dargonus with a punitive campaign. And Sourback's smile is conceited and bloodthirsty. Yeah, all of the Sourbacks are very bloodthirsty. Dangerously bloodthirsty. I agree that we need to remove all Drukhari. I'm not as convinced that all of the children of Asuryan Eldari need to be removed, because I haven't seen them do much that was strongly anti-human. Some, but most of the ones we've seen are just refugees trying to survive. I see you hate Xenos with all your heart, speaking to Sourback, or to Abelard's young relative. What is your name? We'll talk to Sourback first. I see you hate Xenos with all your heart. I do. This pestilence against the Emperor must be exterminated. He talks ardently and smoothly, like a commissar. He places his hand on the hilt of his finely adorned sword, his pale face ablaze with noble fury. Or they must be forced into servitude. Many Xenos are more useful alive and obedient than dead. The young man in Gaprak's colors speaks with sagacity and gravity, but his opinion seems to carry little weight in this circle. Need to reach some kind of accord with them, but all the Farseers we've dealt with seem so arrogant. The Farseers, I think we've only really dealt with one Asuryan Farseer who clearly had gone way overboard because they were more focused on hurting humans than pushing back against Slaanesh. And any good Eldari should be far more fearful of Slaanesh and their influence than on humans coexisting on a planet. Sagacity? Yeah, it's not a word I'm familiar with. So Gaprak wants us to keep the Xenos, but force them into servitude, which guarantees permanent Xenos rebellions, because the Eldari are not going to be accepting of being slaves. So I don't know how well that's going to work. It's tricky since its root is from sage, which is what I gathered, with a soft G. Sagacity has a hard G. Stupid English. Yeah, English is rough. Like, I've done some brief studying of Spanish in high school, and then on my own I've done a little bit of trying to learn a bit of Japanese. Never really went far with either, but in both cases they have very clear, this is what a letter sounds like, which is super nice, as opposed to English where every letter has a dozen pronunciations, some of them extremely rare, but still they happen. And you're just like, why English? And it's because we're a melting pot of different cultures, so we grabbed words and use their pronunciations even though the spelling doesn't make sense with how the rest of English is put together. English doesn't borrow from other languages. It mugs them in dark alleys and rifles their pockets for spare grammar. Basically true. Yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily 100% agree with Gaprak. It pleases me to see such earnest faith. I must commend you. Smile venomously. And how many xenos have you killed personally, Sourback? Or young Gaprak is right. The xenos are not just a threat, they are also an opportunity. I'm kind of feeling the more neutral response of just saying, yeah, you're all earnest in faith, I commend you. Rather than trying to say that one is more correct than the other. Well, I guess this is also taking a stab at Sourback, because probably whoever this leading member of the Sourback family is, probably has not spent a lot of time personally in war killing xenos. You'd say English got mugged? I don't see a need to antagonize Sourback, who apparently already, from what we read earlier, was standoffish towards us. So, yeah, it just pleases me to see earnest faith. I must commend you. Sourback blushes and raises his chin. How Sourback is stalwart in its faith, your lordship? Are you imagining things, or did you just notice a mocking glint in the eye of the Inquisitor standing among the guests? Yeah, something's gonna go on with the Inquisitor. I'm just waiting for him to do whatever he's planning to do. But this just waiting, knowing that he's planning something and just waiting for it to happen, doesn't feel good. It's not just English, though. It always throws me hearing people speaking in, say, Japanese, but then including random English words. Yes, Japanese also has grabbed English words. I mean, most cultures, English is such a prominent language that most other cultures have also grabbed some English words, which is kind of weird considering English is getting its words from other cultures, and so it's creating this weird blending. Words brands because there's no term in Japanese, as if things weren't originated by Japan. Same applies to other languages / nations. Yep. I don't remember what's up with the Sourbacks. No, yeah, I'm curious what's going on with them because they... Besides just being bloodthirsty, the Sourback we have on our ship is extremely bloodthirsty. This Sourback that's leading the noble house here is extremely bloodthirsty. It seems to just be their attitude as a whole. Something's always going on with the Inquisitors. Yeah, I was just hoping he'd be more friendly because we've generally done things he would agree with. We've made a few choices that he wouldn't, like having Iliet on our retinue. We've had an issue with Swedish for a long time now, where English words have been forced in despite there already being a native word with the same meaning. Okay. I'm not familiar with Swedish language, so... Yeah. English has spread its corruption everywhere. Yeah. Let's look at Abelard's young relative. What is your name? Your lordship, allow me to introduce the daughter of Chancellor Clementio Wissarion, and my great-granddaughter. Yeah, so I knew that Clementia was his granddaughter, so I assumed he would have great-grandchildren, so here's an example. My great-granddaughter, Astaria. Abelard looked solemnly upon the young woman with barely concealed pride. I'm delighted to witness you, your lordship. Astaria bows, keeping her observant and intelligent eyes trained on you. Modesty forbids my esteemed forebearer to say this himself, so I will. Our entire family is grateful to you for wishing to see someone of Wissarian blood at your side as you claim your inheritance. Drivestem exchanges telling glances with young Sourback, who, judging by his face, is suddenly finding the collar of his expensive frock coat uncomfortably tight. Yes, we had Abelard stand with us. As the two members of my retinue that I could choose, I chose Abelard as one of them. But I didn't... Drivestrom and Sourback are definitely taking that negatively. I mean, I could have chosen someone else like Irliet, to stand with us. That would have annoyed everyone. What's wrong with saying Swedish language? Pseudonym's laughing at me. I don't know. How are you finding the reception? Where are the rest of your kin, Abelard? I hope the Wissarian family gives Abelard the credit he deserves. How are you finding the reception? It is difficult to put into words, your lordship. Never before have I seen such a grand and striking ceremony. Astaria's voice sounds passionate and inspired, and her eyes shine with barely contained excitement. Perception test succeeded again. Young Gaprak keeps staring at Astaria curiously and a little bashfully. It seems the boy likes her. Yes. You can just say Swedish. Swedish language, I think, is clear that I'm specifically talking about the language and not the culture or anything else. I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying that I was speaking about the Swedish language. Where are the rest of your kin, Abelard? They are in the city, preoccupied with running the festivities and watching over some of the more crucial services. No incidents can be allowed to ruin your ceremony. Astaria frowns and adds peevishly, I asked the esteemed Abelard to put me to some important task too, but he bid me to attend the reception, where I can do nothing to serve your lordship. Sabak smirks. If I had known, I too would have asked Abelard to let you miss the party. Wow. Wow. So you wish to become my servant as well? Astaria flushes and starts talking quickly with fire in her voice. It would seem that she finds work-related conversations far more interesting than court gossip. Of course. I've been working on a project for the last 4 years. We could set up... Enough, Astaria. I highly doubt his lordship is interested in listening to the fantasies of a young woman about how to run his protectorate. Abelard shoots Drivestrom a glare so dark and bloodthirsty that the latter instinctively starts looking for the nearest warden. Wow. We know Abelard can be a bit menacing at times, but a glare so dark and bloodthirsty that it shuts up Drivestem. Wow. It's quite true. I really am not interested. No, coercion 10. Hold your tongue, Urband. I decide who may speak and who may not. Please continue, Astaria. Only a 45% chance. But we've been rolling good so far, so let's keep going. Another success. We've been rolling a lot of under 50% chance successes. Heart and Astaria continues in the tone of a seasoned administratum clerk. Our suggestion is to set up a chain of stations in the void, plasma beacons that would signal the passing ships. By placing them in logistically sound locations, we could simplify our ship's routes so that they may split long warp jumps into a series of safer, shorter jumps from one beacon to another. This would have a positive effect on the overall safety of journeys and the accessibility of colonies. You want to set up stations in the Imperium, in the void. That seems incredibly dangerous, because I was like, you can't just set up stations in space and then while in the Imperium hope that you can see the plasma beacons. But no, she's actually wanting to set up the stations in the void. If they are entirely self-run, so they don't have personnel there, maybe. But if you have people living long-term, maintaining a plasma beacon station in the void, that is just asking for problems. Like, yeah, they'd probably still have a Geller field to protect them, etc., but something would go wrong in the same way that our ship's journeys have things go wrong all the time. And they would just be permanently stuck there in the void. like, the idea sounds like if it worked, it'd be very useful, but that'd be hard to pull off. Void, being between the stars, not the Imperium? Okay. If we're not talking the Imperium, I assume they were speaking of the Imperium. But okay, if they, by void they mean just out in space, can you have a plasma beacon that would burn brightly enough to be noticeable to the navigators while they're in the warp? Because they're doing all of their charting, to my understanding, based on looking for routes through the chaos storms while keeping focused on the Astronomicon, which is the Emperor, or I guess more correctly the Golden Throne, as a beacon to navigate by. And I'm just wondering if you can set up a plasma beacon in space that would somehow shine brightly enough into the Imperium that you would be able to see it through the warp. I don't know. It definitely sounds a lot more plausible if we're talking about just throwing them in space, then we don't have the danger of the Imperium. But I just am unsure of the viability of navigators being able to see it. But if it does work, then yes, that sounds great. Though expensive. The amount of plasma you'd be burning to create a bright enough beacon, I'm assuming, is crazy, and the amount of resources to maintain all of these beacons would probably be expensive. But potentially doable. More and more technical terms and percentages creep into her speech. She quotes Lex Mechanic reports and accounts for starship captains. Astaria's vigor and sharp mind are enough to silence even the most venomous of commentators. They all stand there in silence, trying to digest what she's saying. Abelard surveys the quiet nobles with triumph, and then looks at his great-granddaughter with pride. Just waiting for 40k to go all out in size, like introducing a stellar engine. What do you mean? Pseudonym? I hope the Osirian family gives Abelard the credit he deserves. Absolutely, your lordship. We greatly respect him for his wisdom, and he repays us with attention and kindness, she says warmly. I am obliged, dear Astaria. It looks like Abelard is somewhat embarrassed by the turn this conversation has taken. Enjoy the evening. Thank you, your lordship. Alright. Can we talk to any of these people still? Or was that just the whole conversation? Inquisitor. The guests around the governor fall into deferential hush as you approach. Judging by the last bit of their conversation, they were just discussing someone's horrible poisoning that took place at the last society gathering. Nothing more we can say. Okay. I believe that means we've done everything out here. So let's head into the palace, because I'm assuming there's more to do in there.